Hi, I'm Georgia Lennon and this is Amy Papandreou. We are both family lawyers at Southern Waters, and today we thought, as part of our information series to help through this COVID-19 situation, we'd run through a lot of the questions that we've been asked by clients. This morning, the date today is the 23rd of March 2020, and obviously this is evolving rapidly by the hour, and we don't mean for this series of questions that we're about to pose to create any panic or threat or anything like that. It's more just to get you thinking ahead, planning about what to do and considering your personal situation. So we thought we'd share some of the questions we've already been asked and some of the things that we've been considering may impact upon our clients as this situation develops. So Amy, do you want to start us off with some of our questions?
Okay, so probably the most common question that we've been getting at the moment is in relation to parenting. It's a really tricky area for family law clients generally, but at the moment for separated parents it can be particularly difficult. So the question of whether you have to send your children to the other parent, the circumstances surrounding any lockdowns and how that impacts upon your changeover, and whether the kids have to go or not go, or how it impacts your orders and everything that's in place. So it's a massive overarching topic that has so many different questions stemming from it, but we've been getting lots of questions about that, so that's something you have to consider.
Another step flowing from that is obviously what happens if and when they change the school holiday periods, what happens if it's a longer period of time, and obviously the answer to that, we've covered that in a lot of things that we've discussed so far in this series, but obviously the answer to that is going to depend largely upon your particular circumstances. If you have orders, if you have a parenting plan, if you don't and you're kind of winging your way through it. Above all else, with respect to parenting, it's just going to be a matter of cooperation as best you can, and I know that's so hard sometimes, but it's going to be communicating, patience, and just being respectful of one another. So it will keep changing and we'll keep you posted in relation to school holidays, but that's kind of where we're at the moment.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other questions about decision making generally. So there's decisions being made that are so different to any decisions you'd usually have to make in terms of school, daycare, health, all of those sorts of things. Those are the questions that are coming left, right and centre. It's something that nobody really has the answer to, so it's something you definitely need to consider.
Something else with respect to moving away from parenting that people need to have a think about is if they have court orders that, for example, provide for the payment of spousal maintenance, property settlements, and just child support generally. So what are you going to do if, for instance, you do unfortunately lose your job? Do I still have to pay that spousal maintenance to my spouse when I don't have that income flow coming in? What do I do? So they're the kind of things I suppose now as best you can create a bit of a buffer for, but just turn your mind to it, and it doesn't matter if you're using us as your solicitors or someone else. Give them a call and say, what do I do if this does happen? Or my business, if you run a business, is impacted. How am I supposed to comply with these orders that are upon me? And it may be that there's some kind of provision made, it may be that there's not. It's just one of those things you have to talk to your solicitor or us about what you can do to cater for those circumstances.
Yeah, and there are often default clauses in orders which cater for situations like this, or financial issues. So that's something that you might need to have a look at. You might not have thought that default clause would be necessary, but we as lawyers always include them in there, so it's something that you have to have a look at. You might need to have that backup plan activated, so to speak.
Yeah. And if you're in the process of your property settlement negotiations at the moment, for instance, something that's particularly relevant is the fluctuating property market, super balances that have all just dropped. All of those things are really changing. So that's something to keep in mind as part of your negotiation process and updating documents.
Yeah, it's impacting on the way people approach their negotiations. So it might have an impact on what you want to do, how you want to approach it, that sort of thing. And then I guess stemming from that is the way that we negotiate generally. There's things like mediation and court that happen in the background or might create a bit of a timeline for things. These are changing every day. We don't know what's going to be happening with the court next week or tomorrow. So you just need to be aware that the situation is changing. Mediation might not be able to happen in person. There's lots of different things that are happening that you need to bear in mind, and they impact on your family law matter.
Yeah, but don't be concerned about those kind of things as well, though, is probably one of the main messages we wanted to get across, because just this morning I've had a phone call from the court. They said, look, we're having some technical issues in relation to this current matter of ours that was listed, and we just worked through that and got the phone call done, and the mention was done by way of telephone. Then a second thing that I've been doing this morning, for instance, has been contacting some mediators and just saying, hey, look, do you also offer your mediation service by way of Zoom or Google Hangouts or other kind of forums? That will,
a telephone we've
Yeah.
had that offered to us this morning.
and they all do, and we do as well. So it's definitely not going to delay your matter. Well, it may, but as best we can, we're trying to avoid that circumstance. So it's not like everything's going to be put on hold. There's definitely measures that we can take, and everyone's working together.
Yeah, and what we want to stress is there's no right or wrong answer. We're here to help, and we want to be able to address all of those issues that are coming up. We're getting questions from everyone, so everyone's in the same boat. Nobody really knows what's going to be different tomorrow, so feel free to reach out to us, and we think we're here to help.
We really are, though, and we just wanted to make that clear and just get you thinking about moving forward.